So I have spent quite a while trying to gear myself up to take on these chambers. I'm a bit worried that they're going to be a little too much for us, but we are going to give it a shot. Now, what exactly have I been up to? Well, I have been improving my gear just a little bit. It's not too much better than what you saw in the last episode, but we do have things like soulbound on the majority of our gear. That way, in case we do die, we keep our gear and we don't have to worry about trying to find a grave in order to get our gear back, which I think is going to be super useful. But now, not only that, I've also been working on getting a much better sword. You see, there's nothing really wrong with the sword that I've been using. The only issue is it has smite. And well, a trial chamber doesn't only have zombies or skeletons or undead mobs, stuff like that. So sharpness is going to be a lot easier for us to utilize for the variety of mobs that we're going to find down there. So we have this sword here. That's a big improvement on our other one. And then I also have a pickaxe here that I'm not going to use quite yet. I think we might do some kind of a challenge to unlock this pickaxe, but it's there for whenever we want to use it. Now you might also see something a little bit interesting on there. Efficiency 6. That's not quite right now, is it? Well, you see, the last time we had talked about that new mining chest mod, and well, it turns out that some of those mining chests actually drop really good gear. The only issue being it's usually wooden or leather gear, so technically it shouldn't be as good or as useful, but we ended up finding quite a few chests down here through just a little bit of mining. We found quite a lot of that crappy gear that we were able to turn around using the unenchanting system. So through lots of mining and collecting those rare crappy tools, farming up at our mob grinder, and then disenchanting those items, we were able to acquire some interesting rolls on some of these tools. But I'd say now we are more than prepared to take on some trial chambers, and actually there's one right by my base. I think it's somewhere over here. Yep, right here. This should be the bottom of a trial chamber. Oh, hello. Let's just keep you in there for now. I might come back to that. Now, there's a good chance that I'm really unprepared for these trials, but I'm kind of just going to say YOLO, and we're going to see if we can do our best. Oh, I am forgetting about the most important part, though. I will be right back. How on earth could I forget these? We wanted a challenge, right? This should be a little bit better. And there we go, first key. Now, I'm not sure if any of the loot is different. I think it might just be the same as it is in vanilla, but we might have the chance of getting a few modded items. Speak of the devil. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, there is a chance to get a few modded items in here, which is perfect. That's awesome. I like that. Hopefully we can find some cool stuff. Now, I know it's super rare, but I also think it would be cool to get a mace, because I'm pretty sure I have some interesting mace mods in this mod pack. Ooh, dang. That's projectile protection and protection 4. Oh my gosh. We're getting a lot of keys, but I don't think I've seen an ominous vault anywhere. I'm gonna have to keep my eye out for one of those. Ooh. This room looks really dangerous. We have to be really careful here. Yep, and almost fell in lava already. I am so glad for these air hop leggings. Oh my gosh, I almost just fell in again. Oh my goodness, is that it? That was a little intense. Not gonna lie. Holy cow. Now, I believe these ones should be the ominous vaults, yeah? There we go. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I will take that. Wow. All right. Very nice. Thank you. These rooms definitely feel a lot more ominous than the vanilla ones. My goodness. This thing is huge. Oh, gosh. Oh, an iron golem spawner? Are these... Am I supposed to fight you? Oh god, this is gonna be stupid. Are they friendly? Nope, they are not friendly. I really hope it only spawns one at a time. Goodness gracious. I was worried that was gonna be a lot worse. Ooh, we got another chest plate. Is this one gonna be as good as the other one? Ooh, okay, so it's the same thing. They both have projectile protection, protection 4, and fire protection. That is crazy. And the fact that we can like pull it off with our unenchanted system is even like that is just crazy. That's going to be so overpowered. I can't get over how massive this place is. It's so cool. A witch spawner. Ooh, that's interesting. I want your chest plate, sir. Please drop it for me. No? Okay. I want your chest plate, sir. Please. No. Yours? No. Darn. These zombies are really tanky. Is that green fire? What on earth is that from? Oh, we got another chest plate. Let's go. Yep, same spread. Some golden carrots. Okay. Potion of something. Regeneration. Yep. Okay. Any more chest plates? No? Ooh, we got a helmet. Is that going to be any different? I wonder. Guess I should finish with these guys first. Get rid of you. Okay, same spread. I like that. Ooh, hello. Oh, there we go. Breeze spawner. Now, are you guys any tougher than in vanilla? You're more so just annoying. You look a lot bigger. And 200 health? Is this like a boss or something? Hello? Anything interesting? It looks like just regular breeze rods, but they're gonna keep spawning, I guess. Oh god, I hope that we don't have to fight too many of these. You know, I thought it looked a little bit bigger. Okay, only 2. Did we get... We got 2 ominous keys from that. Now, is there an ominous vault anywhere? Because really haven't seen too many of those. Getting a lot of keys and not a lot of vaults. Ooh, a book. What is this? Looting 1. Okay, thank you, game. Appreciate that. Blow through. Interesting. Haven't yet to hear of that enchantment. What can we put it on? Bows. Okay, so I'm gonna guess that's like piercing or something for a bow. Could be useful. Could be useful. I'm not gonna complain. I really wish there were more ominous vaults, because like, what have we found? One ominous vault and we have 7 keys to go. Really hope that there's more somewhere, like just a room full of them. Ooh, he's got a backpack. Okay, I will take a free chicken backpack. I'm pretty sure this is like my 3rd one that I have now, but you know, I'm never gonna have too many chicken backpacks. The more the merrier, if you ask me. Now, we found a gigantic breeze spawner. I really hope we don't end up finding like a giant iron golem spawner. That would be probably really hard to take on, because those guys have quite the reach. Ooh, there we go. Finally, an ominous vault. Gosh. Love that we waited that long for that loot. Love that. Oh my goodness. That kind of surprised me. That looks super menacing. Holy cow. You know what? I should probably bring out my smite sword if I can. Yeah. It's gonna make this guy go a lot faster. Goodness gracious. Oh, only one of those? Okay. Ooh, oh my gosh. Okay. All right, so 3 ominous vaults and we got ourselves a heavy core. That is some pretty good luck. Wow. Okay, not the best boots, but you know, whatever. Free gear's free gear. And is this another one on the other side? Okay, 2 ominous vaults. Can we pull back-to-back heavy cores? Not quite, but that is a-okay. I will take 1. That's pretty much all I needed. I think it'd be cool if we ran into another one of those boss rooms, but instead of like a normal mob, maybe it was like a creeper or something. If I were to face like a gigantic creeper, I think I might crap my pants. Not gonna lie. Ooh, some more breezes. And normal ones, it looks like this time. Which means hopefully we can get a few more breeze rods than we have right now. Oh my gosh. It has been like 2 hours. I think I've finally finished every single room in this trial chamber, and my gosh, was there a lot to do here. This thing is so much bigger than the vanilla one. At least it feels like that. I'm not really sure if it is, but it felt like it was a lot bigger and definitely a lot more challenging. I really liked the different boss rooms that there were. I think we encountered 2 different breeze boss rooms and then 1 giant zombie boss room. So pretty cool. I really enjoyed those. Those were fun. And most of the rooms were actually pretty challenging. So I'm glad that we were able to gear ourselves up before taking on this challenge. And again, this mod is called Lucky's Trial Chambers, I believe. And so if y'all want to check this out for yourself, that is the specific mod in the mod pack. That was quite the challenge. And I must say, we came out of there with a ton of loot. We've got a ton of these extra special enchanted gear that we're going to try and pull off later today. But my gosh, we came out of there with a lot to show for it. And I was even considering doing multiple trial chambers today, but that took so long that I think we're just going to stick with the one and we're going to move on with today's episode. And it turns out all that overpowered gear with every protection on them cannot be used on another piece of gear, which is fine, I guess. I'm only a little bit disappointed. But now that we've conquered the modded trial chambers, I think I want to spend a little bit of time peacefully detailing. You can see the stink cloud hasn't even worn off of me yet, but I think I want to spend some time now and finish up the details on the dock, because I really love how the pond itself looks, how the lake looks, and I just think the dock is now lacking and doesn't feel right. So I want to spend a little bit of time detailing up. We're going to finish the interior of this space. We're going to finish maybe some details out here on the path. But I think it's time to get this settled. You know, it's time to make it actually look presentable. So that's what we're going to do. And now, quite some time later, it is time that we take a tour of our new and improved docks, with some shaders on, of course. Now, this is going to be a long work in progress project, but we made a lot of progress today. We completely finished the interior of this little shack. Initially, I wanted to go for a busy, overcluttered feel, and we definitely achieved that with this look. I did a lot of just random little bits, some trophies here and there, and even some plant life. And it's just trying to give the idea of life in this build. And for some reason, the banners don't work with shaders on, but that's what that banner looks like. We actually stole that from a pirate ship, so I thought that was pretty cool to include here. But yeah, not a lot of space. We definitely used every little inch of it. It turned out really good. I'm really happy with this. But moving along on the backside, we also continued those same principles, just giving it overly cluttered, tight-knit, packed-in space with just lots of boxes, lots of different stuff just all around this dock. I even went through and changed up the docks a little bit, lowered some sections into the ground so that it was a little bit closer to the water, someplace that we could have an easy shove-off place for some boats or something like that. And now this whole shack was meant to pay homage to episode 1, but I wanted to include another crane out front here with a guardian fossil like we had on the dock in episode 1 as well. I thought this detail was really cool. I really enjoyed it from season 1 and I really wanted to add it here again. We also added these posts up and down the dock that are just kind of randomly placed around for people to place their fishing rods in. I don't know if y'all have been to a dock, but there are these like things that'll hold your fishing rods on the side of the dock while you're fishing or doing whatever, and they'll just kind of sit there on the edge with your line in the water. That's what these are kind of here to represent. This place is really beautiful with shaders on, and I think it looks even better at night, so I'm gonna have to wait and show you how it looks then. But I was able to add a pretty cool design for some lampposts up and down the dock. These are just a combination of a few different fences. On the left here, we have some macaws fencing, and then on the right here, this is just the regular vanilla fencing, and they create kind of an interesting connection, but I think it works. It looks really cool, and I'm just a big fan of how they turned out. I added these all around the dock. And like I said, I added these little sections that come closer to the water. This is primarily the spot that we fish, actually. This is where I've spent the majority of my time fishing in this world, is just off this little coast here. And I think it's so cozy and so fun. I like this so much. And moving further along the dock, we also have some seating areas, some more cargo and storage. We kept this place primarily open. I wanted this to feel like a nice little lagoon area full of just life. I wish there was some like more fishes or something in here. I'm not really sure how else to add life other than plants, but I think it came out really well. And again, we just have lots of random little details along the way to the edge of the dock where we have another fishing pier down here. We also left a backpack here, kind of as saying someone maybe came through here and just left their backpack or lost it, or maybe they're off, you know, taking a dive somewhere, swimming or something like that. But just some fun little extra bits of life to try and make this dock feel all that much more alive and better. But at this point, the docks feel pretty much done. I don't know if there's much else that I'd like to add here. I think we could use some extra details maybe on this pathway up to the fishing shack, maybe a few extra things just here and there. But for the most part, I feel like this area is done and good to go. which is crazy to think about because I feel like I spent so much time here in the past couple weeks, and now I'm going to be saying goodbye to it, at least for a little bit of time. I know I'm going to come back here and fish frequently, so it's not like I'm actually leaving this area behind, but it is time that we move our attention to other places for our builds. And since we're on the topic, I wanted to talk to you about the next project I want to work on. You see, last episode we finished expanding this path all the way up into the forest and into some animal pens. And I've been doing a little bit of breeding up here, not so much the pigs, mostly the cows, because I think leather is potentially a lot more useful than just regular old pork chops. And we even have a goose pretending to be a cow. What? I might have to come through here and rename that little fella. But these are the animal pens we finished up in the last episode. And this area, it feels pretty good, you know, pretty finished. But I think I want to add just a little bit more in this space. And what on earth could I add now? Well, I was thinking we could wrap a path around here on the top of our crop fields, maybe around here, get a nice little scenic walkthrough, and then turn over to this cozy little outcropping. You see, I think this little space would be perfect for those guys. I think this place would be perfect for some stables. And I think that's going to be our next project, but not quite yet. There's one more thing I want to do first. You see, we spent the beginning of this episode being tested by the trials of modded Minecraft, and well, they were difficult, I will give them that, but they didn't feel as difficult as I wanted them to. And I feel like I need just a little bit more of a challenge today, and so I had another thing in mind that we could do to challenge ourselves a little bit. And well, through this spooky forest that got halfway burned down on the other side of the river, there is quite the imposing structure on the edge of our property. This is something we ran into in episode 1. This is called an Illager windmill, and it's right next to my base. Now, I have no idea how difficult this structure is going to be. It doesn't look near as threatening as those trial chambers, but I know Illagers are a little bit more vamped up in this mod pack and a little bit scarier. So I think this might just be the exact challenge that we need. And while the sun's setting, I guess there's no better time than the present. Definitely not going to regret this one. Well, that was kind of disappointing. Guess I'm going home. I think it's so hard to tell like which modded dungeons are actually going to be a threat and which ones are just kind of there, which is really unfortunate because some of them look very imposing and others don't look threatening at all. Like the underground bunkers, they look like they wouldn't be a threat, but those were some of the toughest dungeons I have faced so far. And that one was a little bit of a disappointment, if I'm being honest. And well, on the bright side, or the dark side, I should say, we can take a look at the dock at night now. Pretty spooky, right? Pretty eerie. I like it. I like it. Yeah, same shot from earlier. Very spooky. Very cool. Well, I have to say, I am fairly disappointed with how that dungeon turned out. That's okay. We might find another one to do today. We might not. I'm not really sure. But I do know I want to start working on the stables next. And I really wish I would stop punching all of my grass. But I think right there, we can picture it, right? In between those trees, nestled in like we did our animal pens. Nice little stable for these horsies. What do you guys think? You like it? You like that idea? I think it'll be cool. So first things first, I decided I needed to know where the path was going to connect up from the animal pens. So I started out by laying that out, and then I went into terraforming a bit of this hill just so that we had some extra space, make it a little bit wider so the horses could actually get up and down from this area. It was kind of weird tucking it into the forest like this, so I needed to make sure it was as accessible as it could be and made as much sense as possible. Then I went into clearing a little bit of the terrain, widening out the space, flattening out the land, and clearing out just a couple of the trees. I did want to still try and keep this as much in flow with the nature and not so much like we're trying to clear out a bunch of space for it. So we did end up like nestling it as good as we could in between these couple of trees that were left, but a few of them did end up getting in our way, which was unfortunate, but you know, we did our best. Next, I went into outlining the build. I know I wanted this to be very rounded, very to the ground and in tune with the nature. So we didn't go for any like sharp corners or anything like that. Tried my best to give it these nice natural curves. I even threw it on a little bit of an angle because I'm really bad at those. And I really just need to try and practice and try with the angled build. So the more that I do, the better. I think, you know, practice makes perfect. So we're practicing today. And it really wasn't too hard. I basically just needed to set an in point and an out point. One side is going to be for the stables. One side is just going to be for me. So not too much to worry about functionality wise. It's kind of flexible. And of course I'm going to call it a theme, but really it's just the block that I have the most of. So we're going with the deep slate for the majority of this build, keeping the same palette from doing the animal pens in the last episode. Honestly, I like the way that the deep slate looks. I think it provides a nice contrast for the other brown tones in the area. I think the black and the dark grays look pretty good here. And I ended up going with a little pop of color. I wanted to use at least some modded blocks in this. So I tried to find one with a trapdoor variant that I liked. And I ended up going with Nature Spirit maple logs for the trapdoors and the doors on this, and I think they look pretty good. It gives us a nice little pop, and it doesn't bring away too much attention from the rest of the area. I think it works pretty well. After I got all the walls up, I worked on the roof. Didn't really have a fixed plan for this. Again, just going for like rounded shapes, so I did my best to create a nice curve that wasn't like too smooth, not too harsh. Tried to level out some areas, make it as smooth as possible, and just again as earthy as I could. And then with the walls and roofs in place, I went in for the final details. Now this build gave me quite a lot of trouble, and I don't know what it is about it. I really struggled with this one, and after we got all the details in, it felt much better. But initially, I was questioning a lot about what I was doing. But I just stuck with it and decided to keep adding and adding and adding, and I think we landed in a fairly good spot. Of course, it's not like a stunner. This isn't a build that we are going to go, hey, look at this one. Look at what I just did. It's not one of those builds. It's kind of why we tucked it back here. I knew it wasn't going to be really pretty. I really wanted to just try and blend it into the nature best I could. And we just kind of did what we could with the... if I could get up here, did what we could with the restrictions that we gave ourselves. I don't think it turned out too bad. And that wasn't even the front of the build. This is technically the front that we're going to be seeing the most often. This angle is the one that I was worried the most about. And honestly, I really don't think it's that bad. I kind of enjoy it actually. Now I came through and added just a lot of life into the area, areas where we could feed our horses, areas with extra supplies and stuff, and then of course spaces for our horses. This one is kind of an idiot. He won't get down from there. Not really sure why, but he can't get out. I don't think there shouldn't be any way for that one to get out. This one is much cooler though, because he doesn't try and escape near as often as this one. Inside here, we just have a few more crates, extra food, and lots of apples to feed our horses, because we know they love apples, especially the really fancy ones. But now that the build is all finished up, I think it's time that we give our horses some names. And here we have, because he's kind of an idiot, Elmer Fudd and Jazz Hands. Why Jazz Hands? I don't know. It just came to mind and felt like I wanted to name my horse that. So we have Jazz Hands and Elmer Fudd, who won't get down from the wall. Love that for him. Honestly, not upset with how this build turned out. Now I know we were a little let down earlier in today's episode when we found out we couldn't actually apply these enchantments onto our armor, and well, I kind of gave it some time, thought a little bit about it, and actually used my brain this time around. And well, we can still use this enchanted armor. You see, these enchantments are on diamond gear, and diamond is the gear that I have on right now. So there really is no difference between this armor and the armor that I have right now. The only difference being this stuff that I have on is unique. So it has a little bit better stats, but we can turn these into uniques, no problem. So after rubbing my two brain cells together and figuring that out, I actually went back down into the trial chambers, and I found us not only those, but these two pieces here that I've already put some enchantments on. So you notice this armor is completely stacked. We have protection 4, fire protection 4, and projectile protection 4, all on a perfect, unique diamond helmet, with all the same enchantments on our diamond helmet that we are currently using, but with those extra protections on them. Yeah, we kind of hacked the system there. Hack might not be the right word to use for this, because so far I have only gotten helmets and chest plates to drop. As you can see here, we have a couple extras in this barrel. I have not gotten any pants or any boots. And I've ran the trial chambers like an extra 2 times, and I just don't know if they're super rare, if they're going to be able to drop at all, or what the deal is with them. It just means that we have a long grind ahead of us, and well, this armor is quite overpowered, so I'm okay waiting a little bit longer to start using that, and waiting until we actually get the full set ready. But that is not something I want to do today. I don't feel like we need to get this done in today's episode. I just wanted to highlight that I was going to be grinding out some more trial chamber runs in between episodes. Might have it by next episode, might not have it between now and like episode 10. You don't know. And I have a cool name picked out for it already, and an idea of how we're going to unlock this when the time comes. But I'm curious what y'all want to call this armor, because this is like completely overpowered and it needs a really cool name to go with that. So far I was thinking Ashenborn sounds pretty cool, but you know, I'm open to ideas if any of y'all have any cooler ones than that. But now, speaking of the trial chambers, there's one other thing I wanted to go over with y'all. So I installed a mod that lets you reopen ominous and regular vaults at the cost of an extra key. So basically, every time I want to redo a vault, I have to spend a key to open it and then a key to actually roll some loot from it, which I feel like is a pretty good trade-off. So instead of having to find a ton more trial chambers just to roll like 3 or 4 ominous vaults, which I think is the number that we got in the one near our base, now I can just go back through and reopen them anytime I'm farming up for these new armor pieces, which seems like a much better deal to me. I'm honestly not sure why they didn't implement some kind of a system to re-roll the vaults in vanilla. I think it's a little bit of an oversight, and it's definitely not fun to go and try and search out brand new trial chambers every time you have an excess of the ominous keys. So I'm okay with adding that mod into our playset and using it for a little bit of extra loot. And so on those extra runs, we ended up getting 5 heavy cores, which is kind of a crazy number, but I think we used over a stack of ominous keys. And if I wasn't using that mod that let me re-roll the vaults, we would have had to find so many trial chambers just to use all of the ominous keys that we got, which is crazy to think about. But now we have 5 heavy cores and a few fun mods to play around with that when the time comes. I don't think I want to do that in today's episode, but there are some interesting things that we can do with those heavy cores that I am pretty excited about. But so where does that leave us for today's episode? Well, I have a huge grind ahead of me, and again, I'm not sure if it's going to be done in between episodes, so I'm not going to make any promises, but I am going to let y'all know that we are going to wrap it up for today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, I really appreciate you making it to this point of the video, and as always, I hope you all have a wonderful day.